Before you come at me furious saying that, oh, there is no such thing as Elsword 2.0, I know, the title it is clickbait, but the changes that KOG made really make it feels like we are playing a completely different version of Elsword. Now that we finally have all the details about what KOG has been planning for this massive meta-shifting balance patch, we can calmly analyze everything that's coming. There are a lot of significant changes, and this video might end up being too long because of that.
Are you saying I'm leaving a gigantic video for people to watch? I'm here to edit and make the info nice and digestible for our viewers, you know?
Don't worry, I know that you do a great job, Luna. I'm counting on you. So, let's start with the most relevant information. Just like I predicted earlier, Elsword will now allow players to choose between running the game on DirectX 9 or DirectX 11. DirectX 11 currently won't support colorblind mode, full screen, character intro videos, or the event bar. I believe that's because they still need to adjust those systems in the new version. Either way, being able to play Elsword in DirectX 11 is already a very positive change, especially for players with strong hardware who wants a smoother performance. Without a doubt, this is one of the highlights of the update, but that's just the beginning. Before we talk about the balance patch itself, we need to discuss the combat power adjustments. They already announced that players with combat power will drop significantly because they increase the relevance of certain stats and decrease the relevance of others that heavily influence the calculation. They also confirm that dungeon and raid entry requirements will be adjusted accordingly, so this won't block players from where they were close to the minimum requirement. And yeah, that's pretty good too. I watched a Korean player testing the patch on the test server, and everyone's combat power dropped to around 10%, 12% to its original value. And yes, this is a drastic drop in numbers, but dungeon entry requirements also dropped drastically. They also adjusted the HP value for giant bosses, challenge mode bosses, and raid bosses as well. And the guild expedition boss HP also. These values may still change depending on the player's feedback from the test servers. They are also doing something that honestly they should have been done a long time ago. Updating the character stat page to display a wide variety of attributes that were previously hidden or difficult to calculate. This is a very good change because it removes the need to manually calculate every piece of gear just to figure out your real damage, which was a pain in the ass.
It's important to note why the CP change. Korean players complained CP got inflated at high levels, not reflecting real performance gains from endgame titles/accessories. Lowering it lets you compare actual end-fight performance better. For example, a 50 million CP char matching or beating a 60 million one didn't make sense. Most content entry requirements dropped to 10% original, keeping access post-drop. Guild expedition bosses HP adjusted too, since higher CP meant more damage contrib. Rest easy. This patch thoughtfully tuned content access, and we're waiting for more tweaks.
Now comes the part that some players will celebrate and others will complain about. Adaptability cap were increased from 55% to 60%, meaning that you'll be less affected by the demonic debuffs and it becomes more attractive to build adaptability through mastery pages or even gear. Polarize cap was also increased from 55% to 60%, allowing for potentially much higher damage if you max this out. Now, let's talk about the group synergies, specifically healers. Effects such as damage reduction, action speed increase, physical and magical attack buffs, cooldown acceleration, skill damage increase, physical magical defense reduction, and debuff immunity and cleansing will no longer stack on each other. That means running two supports in one group just to stack buffs is no longer viable. Healing will still stack, but the dungeon damage was also readjusted, and Korean players already realized that one healer per group is more than enough. Do you guys remember when I said that the 3-category system, the high DPS, the sub DPS or supports, and healers, might disappear? Well, it did. Sub DPS or support DPS as many call it, no longer exist. Now it is just DPS and healers. I won't go through every character change individually, because if I would do that, this would easily push this video past 50 minutes. But generally speaking, support-oriented characters still provide buffs and debuffs, though their percentages were adjusted. Now, they affect both physical and magical damage. They also received self-damage buffs in their passives to help them match traditional high DPS output. High DPS characters also had their debuffs and buffs adjusted to benefit both physical and magical compositions. So now let's talk about healers, the part that many were curious about. There is no longer a need for 2 healers in a group, okay? The Korean meta discussion suggests 1 healer per raid group, meaning 5 DPS and 1 healer. In challenge mode, 1 healer per side, meaning 6 DPS and 2 healers in total. This will likely polarize opinions, and I know that. It reduced the demands of support, potentially sidelining players who created support characters for easy group entry. On another hand, from a DPS perspective, needing only 1 healer makes a group formation easy. I will give you guys now a quick summary of the changes, though if you want to actually check all the changes, I will leave a link in the description so you can check for yourself. But here are the changes that need your attention. Cooldown acceleration was added to characters who didn't previously have in their passives, which is great because you can now have your skill rotations flowing easily and having way less cooldown time. Passive percentages adjustments were made to balance DPS output between characters. All characters now buff and debuff both physical and magical attack. Personally, I love this, because it is great to see diverse characters playing together without synergy restrictions. All healers were standardized to provide cooldown acceleration, healing, defense increase, elemental resistant boost, elemental enemy resistant reduction, super armor, damage reduction, special resource recovery, action speed, all skill damage, and more. Essentially, all healers were standardized and power adjusted. Most healers buffs now last around 1 minute, which means that you, as a healer, will have now a larger damage window to actually give DPS output for your team. Even with this standardization, healers kept their unique identities. For example, Avarice, which is the Lydia's second path, used to favor a choosing ally with her vow mechanic. That mechanic still remains, but now it just increases awakening charge speed instead of concentrated overall power. Buff distribution is now equal across the entire team. Radiant Soul, for an example, still retains her skill reset ability, making her very desirable in certain compositions. Nyx Pieta still provides awakening support, so healers didn't actually lose their uniqueness, it was just adjusted, and I think it was made for the best.
This standardization prevents any healer dominating, avoiding server floods of one type. Radiant Souls reset fave, but others tuned to match ally performance.
Now, to be honest with you, here is my opinion. This requires adaptation from both DPS and healers. Since only 1 healer now is needed per group, and healers contribute meaningful damage, teams will prefer well-equipped healers who can contribute DPS, not just buffs. That's tough for players who relied on minimal gear to secure group spots. Now, the better equipped healer has the advantage. On the flip side, If you have been upgrading your gear, it might be more interesting for you to return to play as DPS. With the end of the strict synergy compositions, more group will accept both physical and magical characters freely, which will increase your chances of entering as a DPS instead of support. Personally, I am excited about these changes. DirectX 11 support, recalibrated combat power, improved stats transparency. This might even hint a future L mastery revamp, though that deserves its own video. The balance patch will stay on the test servers for 2 days. I may need to make another video depending on the feedback-based adjustments, but for now, I do believe these are positive changes that can increase the game's longevity in terms of builds and progression. I would love to say that DirectX solves all the lag issues, but I can't confirm it that yet, since Korean test streamers were still running DirectX for some reason. I don't know, maybe preference? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about these changes and how you plan to prepare when this arrives for us next month. I will be leaving now. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in game.